Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our last Tech Tuesday for the summer. If this is your first time joining us, my name is Albert Spiegel. I'm the Assistant Principal for Instructional Technology and Underclassmen Discipline. We have, 9 days left until the freshmen start with us on the 5th of September. So we hope you're enjoying the last couple days of summer and that you are ready to get going next week. So I'm going to talk about a few things tonight. A couple of reminders. First of all, like usual, you can find the previous episodes of Tech Tuesdays on our YouTube page. In addition, at some point, probably, I hope by the end of this week, I'll be posting some instructional videos that I break out some of the stuff that we talk about in Tech Tuesday, and I'll place them up there as well. So you'll be able to see them, and in case you don't remember how to use PowerSchool and so forth, we'll put some of that stuff up there. Please, if you have not picked up your devices or if you have not dropped them off for configuration, please do that as soon as possible. The office is open tomorrow, Wednesday, and then Thursday from 8 to 2. And we are closed on Friday. So if you need to pick up devices, please make sure you do that. We will be releasing schedules on the 30th, which is this Friday, at some point during the day. I am going to show you today how to read them and how to get access to them. And then you'll get them on Friday, and that'll contain your teacher assignments and your room assignments. For freshmen, your first day is on the 5th September. At 8 a.m. We will start in the gym. I'm not sure if the letter that I said last week went out yet, but if it has not, I know it's very close to going out, but I believe it did. But 8 o'clock on Thursday the 5th, shirt and tie is dress code because you'll be getting your yearbook picture taken. So please make sure you're in dress code and make sure you're ready to go for a good school year. This is our Technology Sports Center. If you have not been here or you haven't seen it, this is right across from room 10, which is the music room, and it's right next to room 11. It's open 7:30 to 3, Monday through Friday. This is a place you're going to go if you need in-person help. Okay? If you are having a problem in class, and maybe it's something with a password, or maybe it's something that you don't immediately need in-person support for, you can email the help desk at bergencatholic.org. And if you need help, there is always somebody in the office from 7:30 to 3. Generally, there are times where it's open before that, depending on, there are a couple of students that work in that office, what time they get in, but at least 7:30 to 3 every day. All right, I want to talk a little bit about bell schedules. And I'll take myself off in a second so you can see the end of sixth period. This is our standard time bell schedule. Okay, our school day starts every day at 7:55. And as I said to you, I think it was last time, somebody asked about being on time. You need to be in your desk, in your seat, ready to go at 7:55. Okay, 7:55 is not in the building or online for a late pass. You have to be in your desk, ready to go in your first period class. Okay. Every day, we have 6 periods, right? You take 7 classes a semester, so one class will drop every day, and on the next slide, you'll see that makes a little bit more sense. For the time being, for about the first 2 or 3 weeks, we will run the same, what we call a normal day schedule, a regular day schedule, okay? The bells will ring at the times that are in the left column on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Eventually, once we start activity period, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we shorten every period by 5 minutes to allow this extra period, this activity period, from 1:30 to 2. All right? But we won't start that probably for at least 2 weeks to give you the time to settle in, get to know where your rooms are, your teachers, and all that. How the schedule works every day is we start at 7:55. We use BCTV is displayed in every classroom, and we will do our daily prayer. We will do the Pledge of Allegiance. We'll pray for Edmund Rice, the founder of the Christian Brothers, and then we'll do any announcements that are needed for the day. And once that's done, you start your first period. So you go 2 periods, and you have homeroom, which is kind of like a coffee break, if you will, without the coffee. And then freshmen will go to 3rd period, and then they come down to lunch for the first part of 4th period. You see how I have it broken up into 4A and 4B. So 4A for freshmen is your freshman lunch. So you'll eat for the first half hour from 11 to 11:24, really, because that's when we let you up at 24, because the bell rings at 27. So we dismiss 3 minutes early from the cafeteria. So you'll go up at 24, and then you'll go to class from 11:30 to 12. Right? That's your 4th period class, is what we call 4B. Okay? You eat during 4A, you go to class 4B, and then you go to 5th period class, which is 63 minutes. Okay? That's when the juniors and seniors are eating their lunch. Okay? So 63 minutes, and then the final 6th period. Right? So again, 4A is your lunch as a freshman. 4B is when you go to class, and then 5A and 5B, your 5th period, is when you go to your 63-minute block. Right? Every class meets in every one of these periods. Right? And what it looks like is this. Right? This is how you will see your schedule before I show you what it'll look in this format on PowerSchool. Okay? So the way it rotates, when we start a week from Friday, we're going to use a day 1 schedule, but we're going to use every period. That's going to be a special schedule. So we're going to repeat day 1 on Monday the 9th. Right? So how it'll work is you will start in period 1, which is the yellow box, day 1, period 1. And you'll go from left to right on day 1. So you'll go yellow, blue, homeroom, dark green, okay, for your first 3 periods. Then you go to lunch, and then you go to period 4B, which is the pink box. Then you go to the brown box, then you go to the purple box. Okay? The class that drops is your day 2, period 6 class. So what I have here in the light blue box, F2, comes in last period on day 2. You don't see that class on day 1. You'll see it on day 2. Okay? The period, once your class gets to period 1, the following day it drops. So you notice the yellow box does not appear in day 2. Okay? So every class meets 6 out of 7 cycle days. So if you count the yellow boxes or the blue boxes or the green boxes, you'll see that there are 6. Okay? You meet in every period through the cycle, and one day you drop the class. Right? You'll go through this twice, and it'll become second nature for you. Okay? When you look in PowerSchool, when we release the schedule, there's 2 ways you'll be able to see your schedule. This is the matrix view of your schedule. This is exactly what the last slide is, the same format. The days go vertically and the periods go horizontally. Okay? So this student would start off in the light blue. So computer applications 1, Spanish, homeroom, religion, biology, world history, and English with the classes for day 1, and then so forth. Right? This schedule view will never change. The matrix view never changes. Okay? You can look at that regardless of what day it is. It's going to look exactly like this. All right? The weekly view, okay, each week you'll be able to see a weekly view, which will give you the calendar day, okay, and your class time and your room number. This is helpful when if we're running a mass schedule or if we're running a house schedule, and it's different from the normal bell schedule. Okay? You'll see what time each class is and what room each class is in. All right. Now, once you get your schedule, we'll have maps up, and people will be helping you on your first day finding your rooms. But on the first day, hopefully you'll be able, if you're concerned about finding your rooms, make sure you ask questions, make sure you find them before the start of your first day. So that's one less thing you have to worry about. You know where you're going to each class, right? So that's your matrix view of your schedule and your weekly view. And this weekly view will change every week. You'll see it on PowerSchool. And you'll, like I said, if we have a different bell schedule, you'll be able to see what times each class meets and follow the rotation as well. Because the weekly schedule will rotate as the day. So if this is day 1, then the next day on Monday, day 2, biology would be first period. Okay, freshman phys ed would drop out. Okay, so you'll have a more detailed view if you look at the weekly schedule. Right. And again, the schedule, it won't take you long to figure out. It'll just kind of, it'll happen because if you go to your fourth period class and there's nobody there, well, they're at lunch. Okay, so you really can't, even if you make a mistake with fourth period, it's not the end of the world because you're not going to be late to class, you're just going to be late to lunch. All right. If you are, I say most students end up buying from the cafeteria. You can brown bag your lunch. It'll take you, maybe 2 or 3 weeks to kind of get through the lunch line, figure out what's offered every day. If you're paying with, the easiest way to pay is with your ID card. And I know Mr. Morano is sending out information or has done that already, or probably will be, about how to fund your cafeteria account. But as the underclassman, the assistant principal who handles underclassman discipline, I'm present in lunch pretty much every day. So I can tell you that, it'll happen. You'll get used to finding a table, sitting with who you want to, and so forth. But, you can brown bag if you want, you can buy if you want. The best thing I can tell you is try and go through the line as quickly as possible because sometimes, we don't want to if you're last online, we don't want you to have 5 minutes to eat. All right. So next thing I want to talk about are e-textbooks. E-textbooks are, we use everything, our platform is entirely digital. We do not use paper books, paper textbooks, paper workbooks. All right, everything is online. Now, most of it has changed from app-specific to really browser-specific. So a lot of our books, with the exception of religion, rely on an internet browser. Right? The username and password for, regardless of your platform, whether it's McGraw-Hill, whether it's Pearson, whether it's St. Mary's Press, it's your email address, okay, and your password is Bergen, capital B, 1955. Now, you can certainly change that, but that's what Mr. Powers sets it up as, right? Mr. Powers is the coordinator of all the, what I still call state aid textbooks, but they're not textbooks, they're digital textbooks, but he coordinates what books you have, what you have access to. So if you end up changing your schedule, and let's say you go from algebra to geometry, and you need a geometry book, you're going to talk to Mr. Powers. He's in the bookstore, or the clothing store, if you will, which is, if you haven't been to the building, it's all the way back in Monastery Hall past the chapel. So again, he's the one, and Mr. Powers is good about answering emails. If you have questions about books, he is definitely the one to answer them. I want to skip. I have 3 slides in here, but there's only one that I want to show you. I think it's this one. Yep. When you download apps for your iPad, the St. Mary's Press Reader is the only app you would need for a textbook. Everything else, like I said, we'll use a web browser. We've kind of moved away, the publishers have moved away from using app-specific readers and are making their content available purely in a web browser form, right? But this is the one you'll need for your religion textbooks. You can download that app for your iPads, right? The last thing I want to remind you again about summer reading. Summer reading is due on Monday, September 9th. I know some of you have been submitting it. If for some reason you have trouble and you need something scanned, certainly, as I said prior, you can come in to school tomorrow or Thursday, and we can scan that for you if you're having trouble. If you have questions in terms of the math assignment or the science assignment, you're going to ask your teacher, when you start. But make sure you have the packets completed, and make sure you've read the book for English, because they'll work on that the first week of school, right? And your summer assignments. Do I have a second slide? No, I duplicated the last one. Your summer assignments are on the 9th and Blackboard. And if you, for some reason, this is only true if you change your math class. If your math class has changed since the beginning of August, then make sure you email the help desk, and they will switch your assignment drop on Blackboard. Because right now, you will see 2 classes on Blackboard. You'll see your math class and your science class. So if your the math class has to be the right one. Okay, so do not submit the algebra assignment to the geometry and back and forth. Okay? Okay. The last thing I just want to give you, keep an eye out for is I will be sending out credentials for ExamSoft in the next few days. This is what the email, just going to students, this is what it'll look like. Okay, it'll say installation and registration instructions, and it's really Exemplify is the name of the program. The company is called ExamSoft. They use the program called Exemplify. You'll be getting these credentials, students, I'd say in the next few days. Once we populate Blackboard, it might not be till over the weekend, but you'll certainly have them before the first day. And just make sure you save the email because you'll be referring to that. If looking at the chats, if you were having an issue with the math assignment, one of the things I can do, which I can actually do now while I'm speaking, or I'm going to try and do, is just make sure that the algebra is set for multiple submissions, which I believe it is, but I'm going to check that right now. And you're having issues with, I guess, algebra is what I'm seeing. Admin, let's see. Classes. Probably when I set them up, I may not have. I generally have them set to allow for multiple submissions. So if you decide you want it, you change your mind about something, you can always resubmit. So let me look at geometry. Summer reading, summer assignment submission, 8 a.m. Oh yeah, I have an individual. No, unlimited attempts. No, I'm not sure why. Make sure you're properly signed on. I'm not sure why you'd be having an issue with math. I would suggest email the help desk and make sure that you take a screenshot or take a picture with your cell phone of what problem you're having, because I'm looking at the submission and everything looks correct. So I'm not quite sure why you'd be having that problem. So make sure you email the help desk and they might be able to direct you better. The religion app is St. Mary's Press, and it looks like that. That's just for your iPad. It's the only app you'll need for textbooks, and that's just for religion textbooks, St. Mary's Press. Okay, and the installation and registration instructions are just there for ExamSoft, okay, for our computer-based testing. So I just want the students to be aware that you'll see an email from Exemplify in the next week or so, and make sure you save that because that'll have your credentials for ExamSoft. You'll use that when your teachers are giving you computer-based tests. All right? Any other questions I can answer? Shirt and tie for the first day. Shirt and tie is unless, let me just double check that. I'm 99% positive we are doing shirt and tie because we're taking yearbook pictures. Let's see. Opening letter. Let's see. Homeroom teachers, yearbook pictures. Yeah. You should be in shirt and tie for your yearbook pictures. Okay, so shirt and tie for the first day for freshmen. When drop off, that's a good question because I should say a word about drop off. When you, from 7:40, maybe 7:45 the latest, until 8 o'clock, well, 7:55 really, the parking lot is truly a parking lot. Okay? My advice is if you are driving your son to get to school prior to 7:30, okay, and certainly no later than 7:40, because once the seniors start rolling in and the rest of the buses come in, the parking lot gets pretty crowded. Okay, and so does Oradell Avenue for that matter. Okay, Oradell Avenue, if you're coming westbound, coming from the center of Oradell, going towards Paramus, it could back up by about 7:45. Okay, please make sure you're here on time. We can't take "I was stuck in traffic" as an excuse for being late. All right, the students enter through the gym lobby. Okay, which is right next to the cafeteria. It's the middle of the parking lot. That's where they enter. That's the only place they can enter. They're not allowed to go through the semicircle. That door is locked at 8:05, and then they would have to go up to the main entrance if they're late past 8:05. That being said, the earlier you get here, I think the better it is, because you'll be able to get in the lot, drop your son, and get out of the lot. I would also suggest trying to make a left out of the parking lot onto Oradell Avenue eastbound can be impossible at times. Okay? So it's important that it may be easier to make a right, go up to the light and go around the block. Okay? Go up to Woodland Avenue if you want to go back eastbound, go back down Oradell Avenue. All right? That might be more helpful to you. Because it does get crowded. Pickup is the same. You can pick up wherever you want, per se. Again, at dismissal, the parking lot is a parking lot, right? The buses leave at 2:10, right? So we've got maybe 10 buses. There's a couple of Bergen buses that start the line. And, the seniors are trying to leave. Parents are trying to pick up. So I would say if you're picking up and you have to pick up at 2 o'clock, I would do it. I would either... If you could park on Oradell Avenue by the field, or park on Woodland Avenue and have your son meet you, because the parking lot is tough. All right, the parking lot is tough at 2 o'clock. I would suggest coming at 2:15 once the buses get out and once some of the some of the seniors have left. The bus schedule. Mr. Santoli is the transportation coordinator. I'm going to put his email in the chat. He is in charge of busing. Any busing questions can go right to him. I would not begin to know about busing, drop-offs, pickups, and all that. I just know what happens if you misbehave on the bus. Lunch, yes, you have lunch every day except the first day. That Friday, there is no lunch. But starting on the 9th, there is lunch. Mr. Morano, I gave him data last week, the emails for everybody. So he should be sending out information about the cafeteria and how to put money on your son's account and so forth. And that should be coming out in the next few days. The kids can use the library after school. The library, we haven't set an exact time when the library will close, but it's open through, generally it's open and staffed. But we'll see. We haven't made a decision on exactly what time that would close and if we would end up putting students in the cafeteria when the library closes. But yes, you can work in the library, I'd say, till probably at least 4 o'clock. What's the earliest you could drop off? Now, I would say the doors are open by 6 because one of our maintenance staff drives the Parkway bus and he leaves at about 5 o'clock. So I believe he'll open up some of the doors. So I would say no earlier than 6. Supervision wise, there are generally adults in the building by 6:30. The cafeteria staff is here by 6. So I would say, to be safe, 6:30 is probably a good drop off. You could probably drop off earlier and someone would probably be here, and the lights will be on, but I would say 6:30. Did I get it? And yes, the other apps to download, Exemplify, Blackboard, Learning Power School, and Mobile. Breakfast is a little bit after 7. I don't know if it's 7:05. It's pretty much when the sandwiches are done. But I'd say, but you could start purchasing by 7, I'd say, the latest. At 7:45, we close the cafeteria, so everybody's out at 7:45. So if you're trying to, shovel down food at 7:52, it's not going to work because we close and lock the cafeteria at 7:45. The cafeteria room itself is open before 7. The library is open. They may not be serving before 7, but either the cafeteria or the library are both open. What other questions can I answer? I'm a captive audience tonight. You've got 9 days. Sure. The Blackboard. I don't have Blackboard slides in this deck. But if you are a student, and I know Mrs. Robolino is working on the parent Blackboard, but the student Blackboard is your email. So if you go into actually, I think I can do it. Forgive my lack of eye contact, but let me go to my computer over here. Let's go to Chrome and let's go profiles. I think I have one for 28. Let's see. If you go into your Gmail and you're signed into Gmail with your Bergen email account, okay, this is my aspiegel28 at bergencatholichs.org. If you click on the waffle up here, you can go scroll down and see Blackboard. And if you click on Blackboard, you'll go to Blackboard. I don't have a matching email address, that's why. But it'll take you right to Blackboard. Parents, I'm going to circle back. I'm going to have Mrs. Robolino send out information about Blackboard because I'm not exactly sure where she is with the parents. But once we have that all squared away, you'll get access to that. Any other questions that I can answer? Blackboard is where you submit your summer work, correct? Any other questions I can answer? If there are not, I'll have this up on YouTube tomorrow. Thank you for joining us tonight. Enjoy what's left of the summer. If you need anything from us, the administration staff at the school, we are there tomorrow and Thursday, 8 to 2. And we're closed on Friday, closed on Monday, and then the administration staff are back on Tuesday, faculty Wednesday, and freshmen on Thursday. Okay, so with that, I wish you a safe Labor Day weekend. Good night, everybody, and I look forward to seeing you all next week.